Welcome to Pain in the Grass, the official Lawn Pride podcast, where we dig deep into the real problems hiding in your yard. From weeds to grubs to mystery brown spots, we've got the dirt. Let's grow better together.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take, mountains of research and boil it all down into knowledge you can actually use.
That's the goal.
So today we're tackling that beautiful but tricky fall situation. The leaves. Everywhere.
A yearly dilemma for sure.
We've looked at lawn care guides, some scientific studies, practical tips, and our mission today is pretty simple. We want to give you a clear action plan.
Right. What do you actually do?
Exactly. When you're staring at that yard, is it the rake, the bag, or maybe the mower you should be reaching for? We want you to know so you get that vibrant lawn next spring.
And that choice, what you decide to do with those leaves right now, is probably the most critical bit of lawn maintenance you'll do all year. Seriously.
More than just tidying up then.
Oh, absolutely. We're not just talking curb appeal here. This is about winter survival for your grass. It's about its ability to store energy for next season.
So the decisions you make now in the fall, they really set the stage for spring.
They absolutely determine your spring lawn's health. It's proactive care.
Okay, let's dive in. First big question, why is just leaving a blanket of leaves so bad? In a forest, leaves fall, they stay there, it seems fine. Why is my lawn different?
Yeah, that's a really common thought, but your lawn isn't a forest. It's a totally different ecosystem. It's managed. It's dense turf grass.
Right, not wild.
And the sources we looked at, they were completely unanimous on this. Leaving a thick, matted layer of leaves on your lawn for any real length of time, it's just bad news.
So removal or shredding, it's non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable.
For survival. Okay, so what's actually happening under that leaf blanket? What are the specific ways it damages the grass?
Well, the first big threat, and it happens right away, is smothering.
Smothering? How?
Even when it's getting cooler, your grass still needs sunlight. It needs to photosynthesize to build up carbohydrates in its roots. That's its winter food storage.
Okay.
That leaf blanket, it's like putting a roof over it, blocks the light completely. So you're basically starving the grass right before it needs that energy the most for winter dormancy.
Ah, okay. So light deprivation, that's killer number one. Then what about moisture? Leaves get wet.
And that leads straight to the second major threat. Leaves act like sponges, seriously. Dew, rain, fog, they soak it up and just hold it there.
Creating a damp layer on the soil.
Exactly. A perpetually humid, kind of airless environment right on the surface. And that damp, insulated layer, it's the perfect incubator for fungal diseases.
Ugh. And you mentioned there's one specific fungus we should really worry about.
Yes, snow mold. It's often kind of hanging around, dormant, but give it that wet, covered environment under the leaves.
And it takes off over winter.
It thrives. Then the snow melts in spring, and bam, you've got these large, ugly, sometimes completely dead patches of grass.
Nasty stuff. And I guess that cozy mat of leaves is also prime real estate for pests.
You got it. A little apartment complex for insects and other critters looking for a safe place to overwinter. Provides perfect cover.
Okay, so the research is clear. That thick layer has got to go, or at least be dealt with.
It has to be managed, reduced significantly.
Which brings us nicely to what seems like the smartest solution, the one that turns this chore into, a benefit. Mulch mowing.
Yes. This is the strategy the sources really champion for most situations.
Because it turns cleanup into feeding the lawn.
Pretty much. It leverages nature's cycle for you. If you've got light to moderate leaf cover, it's usually the most efficient and definitely the most beneficial way to go.
So how does it work? You just mow over them?
Basically, yeah. You run your mower over the leaves, but instead of bagging, the blades chop everything up into tiny pieces. Really tiny, high surface area pieces.
How tiny are we talking? Do I need a special mulching mower?
Standard mowers often do a pretty good job, especially if you maybe make 2 passes.
Right.
But the goal is confetti. Think dime-sized pieces, maybe even smaller.
Not big chunks of leaf.
Definitely not. If you see leaf fragments, they're too big. They'll just sit on top and smother. The pieces have to be tiny enough to filter down between the grass blades right to the soil.
And then once they're down there, they start breaking down.
Immediately. They become this natural, nutrient-rich soil amendment. You're essentially giving your lawn a free dose of organic fertilizer.
Packed with what? What's actually in those leaves?
Well, the sources list things like carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, all essential elements for healthy soil and grass.
Let's focus on the science a bit. What do those nutrients do for the grass right before winter?
Okay, so the carbon is great for long-term soil structure, but the nitrogen and potassium, they're critical right now. They help the grass store those vital carbohydrates in the crown and roots.
Which makes it tougher for winter.
Exactly. Improves its cold tolerance, helps it manage dormancy better. It's like insurance for a good spring green up.
And the research actually shows this works.
Oh, yeah. Studies show mulched leaves can really cut down on how much synthetic fertilizer you need. And over time, it can even help suppress weeds.
That's fantastic. Turning waste into, well, lawn food. But, okay, there have to be rules, right? You can't just mow over a 3-foot pile of leaves.
Huh. No, definitely not. There are some strict rules for success here, and rule number 1 is maybe the most critical.
Let me guess.
Timing.
You got it.
Yeah.
Mow only when the leaves are dry. Bone dry.
And if you don't, if they're damp?
Big mistake. Wet leaves are heavy, sticky. They don't shred into confetti. They clump up into these thick, soggy wads.
Which would clog the mower.
Plug the mower, definitely. Yeah. But worse, those clumps drop onto the lawn like little suffocating mats. They block light, trap moisture, basically creating instant snow mold conditions.
Yikes. Okay, so dry and crispy leaves only. Got it. What about how many leaves? How do I know if it's too much for the mower?
Good question. The sources give us 2 handy rules of thumb. First is the 1/3 rule.
Okay.
Stand over your lawn. If you can't see at least, say, 1/3 of the actual grass blades poking through the leaves, it's too thick. You'll need to rake or blow some off first before you try mulching.
That makes sense. And the second rule is that for after mowing. Exactly. It's a check on your work. After you've done your passes, look down. The chopped up debris shouldn't cover more than about 50% of the grass surface.
So you should still see plenty of green grass showing through.
Right. If it looks like more leaf bits than grass, that layer is too heavy. It's going to smother the turf. Those tiny pieces need to disappear down to the soil, not form another blanket on top.
Okay, so maybe that means adjusting the mower deck height a bit? Or making a second pass?
Could be. Sometimes a slightly lower deck height on the second pass or mowing in a different direction helps push those pieces down. The goal is that they basically vanish from sight.
Disappearance, not just shredding.
That's the key.
All right, so mulch mowing is plan A. Saves work, feeds the lawn. Awesome. But let's be real, sometimes
the trees just dump too much.
Yeah, sometimes you're just buried. So when is removal raking, bagging, blowing the only option?
Mulching is great maintenance, but it definitely has limits. The number 1 trigger for just getting them off the lawn is heavy buildup. Simple as that.
Like how heavy?
If the leaves are ankle deep, several inches deep, or if you've let maybe 2 weeks of heavy leaf fall just sit there, forget mulching. The volume is just too much.
The mower can't handle it, and the lawn can't handle the mulch it would create.
Precisely. And we already talked about wet, matted leaves being dangerous.
Right, if they're already soaked and clumped.
Get them off! Now, the disease clock is ticking, and mowing will just make slimy, disease-spreading patties. Removal is the only safe bet then.
Any other situations?
Yeah, think about sensitive areas, like if you just seeded a patch or you have really high-value turf you're protective of. In those spots, maybe just play it safe and remove the leaves entirely to maximize light and air.
Okay, and now this gets interesting. You mentioned some types of leaves are just trouble, right? Regardless of how many there are.
Yes, this is important. Certain leaves are just more problematic. Large, tough ones, think sycamore, maybe sweet gum. They just take forever to break down. They hang around too long.
Okay, slow decomposers. What else?
The big one is black walnut. Black walnut leaves contain a chemical called jugalone.
Jugalone.
Yeah, it's allelopathic. That means it actively inhibits the growth of other plants nearby, including your grass. So black walnut leaves, definitely rake them up and get them out of there.
Wow, okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
What about the most common one, oak leaves? We get mountains of those.
Oak leaves.
Uh-huh.
Well, you can mulch them if it's just a light layer, but if you have huge quantities, removal is probably better.
Why is that?
They tend to be a bit more acidic than other leaves, and they have this kind of waxy coating that makes them decompose really slowly. So if you've got piles and piles of oak leaves, best to remove the bulk of them.
That's really helpful context.
Yeah.
Okay, one last timing question. What if leaves keep falling super late, like into December, after the grass seems to have stopped growing? Still okay to mulch then?
The sources lean towards removal being safer that late in the season.
Because decomposition slows way down.
Exactly. The ground is cold, microbial activity is minimal. If you mulch then, you're basically just creating a heavy layer that's likely going to sit there all winter.
Increasing that snow mold risk again.
Right. Once the snow hits, it traps moisture underneath. So, rule of thumb. If the grass is clearly dormant, probably better to just remove most of the leaves falling that late.
Okay, makes sense.
Okay.
So we've raked up this potentially huge pile of leaves we couldn't mulch. It's not just trash, is it? We can use this stuff.
Oh, absolutely not trash. Those leaves are gardener's gold. Seriously, they're the perfect brown material for composting.
Brown material, meaning high in carbon.
Exactly. And you need that carbon to balance out nitrogen-rich green material. Think grass clippings, kitchen scraps in your compost pile.
Why is that balance so important for compost?
Well, the microbes doing the decomposing, they need both. Carbon for energy and nitrogen for protein. Get the ratio right, and the pile heats up and breaks down fast.
And if it's wrong, like too much green stuff,
Then it gets slimy, maybe anaerobic, and can start to smell like ammonia. Not good. Leaves provide the bulk, the structure, and that crucial carbon to keep things aerobic and cooking. Turns that leaf mountain into rich humus by spring.
nice. And they're good for mulching garden beds too, right?
Excellent for that. Shred them first if you can. They break down better and look tidier. Then spread a thick layer around your garden beds, shrubs, perennials.
What does that do?
Insulates the roots over winter, protects them from freeze-thaw cycles. Plus, it suppresses weeds next spring as it slowly decomposes and feeds the soil. Way too valuable to just bag up for the curb.
Okay, awesome. Let's pull this all together then. Based on everything, what's the simple, step-by-step action plan for someone listening right now?
Right, it's really a hybrid plan. It's about active management, not waiting until it's overwhelming. Step 1, monitor weekly.
Don't let it pile up.
Exactly. Deal with them in waves as they fall. It's much easier.
Okay, step 2.
Mow and mulch first. Make that your default strategy whenever you have light to moderate cover, and importantly, when the leaves are dry. It's fast, easy, and feeds the lawn.
Got it. Plan A. Then step 3.
Rake and bag. When necessary, save the hard work or the bagging mower for those times when it's just too much heavy piles, already wet and matted leaves, or those problem leaves like black walnut or excessive oak.
And a final step, the quality control check.
Step 4, check your results. After you mulch, always look. Is the chopped up stuff filtering down? Can you still see at least half the grass? If it looks like a blanket of bits, spread it thinner or rake some up.
Perfect. That's the roadmap.
That's it. The main goal really is just management. Prevent that thick, smothering, disease-promoting mat from ever forming in the first place. You're using the natural cycle to your advantage.
And that's really the final thought we want to leave you with today. You're not just, cleaning the yard this fall. You're actually participating in nutrient cycling. You're winterizing your lawn investment.
Well said.
Every leaf you manage to mulch correctly, that's energy, that's nutrition you're storing right there in your soil. And that's what guarantees you a much healthier, greener, more vibrant start when spring finally rolls around.
Thank you for listening to the Pain in the Grass podcast, sponsored by Lawn Pride of North Charlotte, Huntersville, your go-to name in turf care for homeowners and businesses seeking beauty, quality, and reliability, powered by family and fueled by passion. Until next time, make sure to take care of that pain in the grass.